Thank you so much for attending our launch event for the Children's Museum Play It Forward campaign. I'm Jennifer Livingston. I am your Master of Ceremonies. I am a very proud member here at the Children's Museum, the mother of 4 children, 3 of which have grown up playing at the Children's Museum, and my baby Jack. I am so looking forward to him finding new adventures in this wonderful facility. I would also like to introduce you to my friend B. And B is a beloved friend of my 8-year-old daughter Finley's. Never leaves her side and hasn't since she's been about 10 months old. And I want to tell you just a little story about B. So we were here at the Children's Museum one Sunday, a couple of years ago, and had a wonderful day, as we always do when we come here, and left and went home, and we're sitting reading stories for bedtime, and B was nowhere to be found. Oh, the tears were flowing. We were very upset the Children's Museum had closed, and I also noticed that it was closed the next day. And we had sort of a sleepless night of lots of tears and missing our good friend. And so I got on the horn and called my friends Ann and Leanne to try and get a hold of them to see if they had found a little pig, and if they would be able to somehow get it to me on their day that they're closed. So fortunately, Leanne found said pig. I drove by, picked him up with a lovely little note that went home to Finley that said, "Dear Finley, I had such a wonderful evening playing all night long at the Children's Museum. It was so much fun, and thank you for letting me explore and have wonderful adventures as well." So she was super excited and wanted to know what he did all night while she was away. But I just think that's such a great sort of message that the Children's Museum, everybody has fun here. I want to thank you and welcome you on behalf of the Children's Museum campaign chairs, Judy Buffler and Adam Binsfeld, and our launch hosts, Renee and Mike Redman, and Steve and Cindy Schultz. Our first order of business tonight is to make sure that each household here represented has an orange goodie bag. They're kind of here, scattered throughout the seats. Each couple should have one, and each individual should have one. If you need one, there's some available on some of the chairs here, or just raise your hand and a volunteer will make sure to get you one. Also, a couple of just logistics here. If you're parked in the back, don't forget to grab a token on your way out to make sure that parking is covered, and please silence your cell phones as we get this program underway tonight. All right, so we're going to get to some fun stuff right now. You're so generous to give of your time tonight that we have a few fun door prizes for you. So let me see here. Raleigh Dick. Yeah! 2 wine flights and cheese sausage plates. There you go. All right, next up, we have Mary Mueller. $20 to the Mint. Oh, Kelly Barr, a spa pedicure. Kelly Barr. Yeah, good job. And Mary Wendt has won a $50, Wendy, thank you, to $50 to La Chateau. Where's Mary? So we also had you vote on a People's Choice project when you were coming in, and we are happy and excited to announce that the People's Choice winner for tonight is the rooftop lake patio. Very cool. Super cool. All right, so as you can imagine, organizing a campaign to raise $2 million takes a dedicated group of people willing to give up their time, their talents, and their resources. This really is no small endeavor. The Children's Museum is 18 years old this year, and it has become a cornerstone in the La Crosse community and a favorite place for children and families from the entire region. One more quick story that I want to share, just a personal story about my same daughter, Finley. When she was 5 years old, some of you know that she was in a terrible car accident. She was hit by a car, and we spent some time in the intensive care unit. And I remember sitting in the hospital and discussing with her doctors her prognosis and how long we would be in the hospital for. And the doctor said, it's a little touch and go right now. It's probably going to be 5 to 7 days of recovery. And she started crying in the background. And I turned around and I said, what's the matter? And she was so upset because she was going to miss family night for her preschool at the Children's Museum. And I was so moved. I just thought that was such a, it just spoke volumes about how much she loves being here. But she actually had a great recovery. It only took her 4 nights. We made it to family night, and I have this very vivid memory of her downstairs catching the scarves that were flying in the air, and I was watching her, and she was laughing. And it was just something about that and that moment that made it sort of realize for me that she was going to be okay, and I will always forever associate that with the Children's Museum. So I love this place. It's important to me, and it's so, so important to our community. We know when businesses talk about the quality of life in our area to potential employers, they include the museum on the list of attributes here in the La Crosse area, and we know that thousands of visitors each year contribute to our downtown revitalization. The founding board of directors began a campaign like this, very similar to this 20 years ago. Since then, hundreds of volunteers and a small, dedicated staff have put countless hours into the Children's Museum. As Margaret Mead said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. So 2 volunteers that we would like to recognize tonight are our co-chairs of this campaign, Judy Buffler, who has been a champion of this project since day one, and Adam Binsfeld, past president and current board member who didn't hesitate for a minute to take this leadership role. He truly understands philanthropy. And we also want to thank and introduce our launch event chairs, also past board members Steve Schultz and wife Cindy and Renee Redmond and her husband Mike. The museum leadership lives by the phrase family first, and by this sometimes they actually mean they ask their families first. So the special thanks to the spouses and the children who have helped along the way. And in addition, we want to thank all of the Play It Forward campaign volunteers and leaders. We thank the entire communications committee for planning this special event, and our case committee for creating our wonderful campaign materials. And a special thank you to Ellen with Crescendo Fundraising for leading us through this process with some patience and kindness, and to our steering committee for countless meetings on their behalf as well. So one more round of applause. Thank you. We hope you enjoy the wonderful tastings from tonight. It's from the waterfront, and we're so happy that they are here. And we will continue to have that food available afterwards as well. So let's give those businesses a round of applause for providing food and beverages and treats for us. This is a very brief program. I promise you will be done around 6:45. And if you do wish to stay, you're welcome to help yourself to more food or another glass of wine, or you can play on the fire truck, whatever you would like to do. I've mentioned Judy Buffler a couple of times tonight, and unfortunately, Judy, one of our campaign co-chairs at the museum, a founding lady, is recuperating from surgery, and she cannot be with us tonight. But I would like to invite Renee Redmond, past board president, committee chair, and one of our launch hosts, to read a letter from Judy. So come on up, Renee.
This is a message from Judy. When you wish upon a star, it makes no difference who you are. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. Welcome to the Gertrude Salzer Gordon Children's Play It Forward party. It doesn't seem possible that 18 years have passed since the doors opened on this enchanted place. My first encounter with the idea of the Children's Museum was on July 1st, 1996, moving day for David and I, when Ellen Heineke and Marilyn Undell introduced me to Anne, and a wonderful journey began. Our theme was Reach for the Stars, and this fabulous community made our wishes and our dreams come true. Because of the generosity of the people in this community and the belief that this dream could come true, we have exceeded all expectations. Who would have believed that in just 17 years, 1 million visitors would visit? And now we have the opportunity to make sure this will continue for many, many more years. To this day, the museum and the people that make it go bring a swelling to my heart and tears to my eyes when I observe the joy and the happiness in the children's eyes as they learn to play. I am so grateful for all the community has given. We are genuinely blessed to have the quality programs, exhibits, and education for children of all ages. Thank you all for coming this evening. Thank you for all you have done in the past and will continue, I'm sure, in the future. Enjoy, take lots of pictures, and know how much we appreciate your joining us in playing it forward. Love, Judy.
Thank you, Renee, and I know we all wish Judy a speedy recovery. Now I would like to introduce you to a woman by the name of Tiffany Achterkirk. Tiffany and her family are members of the museum, and she has a really great story to share.
First of all, I'd like to thank the staff of the Children's Museum for inviting me to speak and to share my love for the museum. The museum has meant and still means a lot to me, as well as many members of the Crosse and surrounding areas. I still remember my very first visit to the museum. I remember the fun interactive exhibits that spark the imagination, and unlike many other museums, invite you to touch and be a part of the world that you live in. As I grew older, I continued to learn best through interacting with my environment and peers. When I started college, I took a great interest in history, especially in museum studies. My interest in learning and exploring the world around me was greatly influenced by my school trips to the Children's Museum. In 2014, I became a mom to an amazing little boy named Liam. It's right up there. I knew that I wanted Liam to be introduced to the experiences that I had as a child. For Liam's first birthday, we took him to the Children's Museum, and he never wanted to leave. Throughout his first 2 years of life, we took him on many trips to the Children's Museum. It almost became, well, it did. It became the sanctuary of the tired mom that I was and still am today. Liam could run around and explore, and most importantly, nothing was off limits. It was a great break for me, and he was learning. It was a win-win. In late 2016, our world changed when Liam was diagnosed with autism. We had always seen the warning signs and just hoped things would change. While we have accepted that Liam is autistic, we have difficult time accepting the autism. Liam has very limited speech, very limited social skills, and numerous sensory issues. Throughout the diagnosis process, we continue to seek relief and fun at the Children's Museum. At the museum, Liam was able to interact with peers and learn imaginative play, something that he struggles with daily. Liam is encouraged to play in the Mississippi River water table and learn how a river functions. And he is encouraged to pretend to play to be a bank teller and deliver money through the drive-thru. Nothing is off limits, nothing is unreachable. The Children's Museum provides area children the opportunity to learn and play and encourages them to be kids. The museum provides kids of all abilities the opportunity to learn and play no matter what their daily struggles are. The museum provides relief to parents like me and so many others who encounter daily struggles with their children through their interactive exhibits and very caring staff. I'm extremely honored to have been asked to speak on behalf of the museum. When I heard about all the changes and improvements the museum plans to build, I was excited to have the opportunity to be a part of it. The fact that so many children and parents in the area will have the opportunity to have the experience my family has is truly amazing. The fact that the Children's Museum staff dedicate their time and effort to continue to improve shows true dedication to the children of La Crosse and the surrounding areas. I know many others have experiences that are just like mine, and I encourage you to continue to support the Children's Museum in their effort to continue to expand and educate not only the children, but the entire community. Thank you.
Tiffany, thank you for sharing your story with us tonight. I would now like to welcome a friend of mine, Ann Snow. Ann is the founder of the museum and executive director The story of how the museum began, it really is a Cinderella story, and our museum is the envy of many communities. You can call it luck, you can call it leadership, but Anne will tell you this project has been blessed from day one. Anne Snow.
This just sucks. Jennifer, first, you're the best. See, I can pull together for Jennifer. I have a little goodie bag for you. Jennifer has 4 kids at home and a husband, and she gets up at a freakishly early time of day, every day, and to do community service and be here 2 nights in a row. We applaud you. And thank you. And Tiffany, thank you. Tiffany sent me an email out of the blue, one of those sit at your desk and cry, and then print it out and read it to everybody on the staff, and everybody cries. And it's just one of those deeper levels to the museum. It's not something that we ever expected when we built this place. It's just one of those really good things. We are a Cinderella story for so many reasons, and there have been so many fairy godmothers and fairy godfathers along the way. I wrote and rewrote my comments 7 or 8 times. Most of you who know me know I'm a talker, and I can go a million different directions when I talk about the museum. So I was really struggling. We've had 20 years of successes. So I went to the communications meeting last week, and I had pulled out our old case statement and our campaign materials from 20 years ago. And you'll notice that, we were cheap. We would never print color, maybe on the cover, and we spiral bound them ourselves. And most people we met with didn't even know what a children's museum was. So I took these to the meeting kind of for fun to hand them out, and I explained to them that I was really having a hard time figuring out what to talk about. And I said, should I talk about the importance of play and the deficit of play we have in the United States right now? And researchers are saying our children do not have enough free time. They aren't using their imaginations. Or do I talk about early childhood brain development, another thing that's been in the news? There's tons of research. Those preschool years are so important to make those connections. Or do I talk about all the successes, the numbers and the statistics? Or maybe I should talk about field trips. Leanne and I found research on how important it is for children to take field trips. On so many different levels, it's good for them. They get to ride a bus with their classmates, not just the kids in their neighborhoods. They learn how to be good little people, standing in line, taking turns, getting on a bus, being civilized. And it's especially good for economically disadvantaged children. Field trips mean more to them. They don't get in the car and go with mom and dad to Madison or Minneapolis or even to the Dells. They're lucky if they go from school, maybe to the Boys and Girls Club, maybe just home and back to school and back to home. So those field trips mean a lot. Well, of course, the committee steered me in the right direction, which committees have been doing and my board has been doing for 20 years. And as the materials made their way around the table, they said, this is it, Anne. This is what you talk about. And Diane Bossart said, in this ever-changing world, we haven't changed. And she's right. The words that were on that case statement are still guiding us every day. Learn, play, pretend, explore, create, build, dream. These are the experiences we want children to have every time they visit the museum. And they do. We want every child to feel the excitement when they come through our front doors. And I tell you, if you're ever having a bad day, come stand on first floor for a while. The first thing you'll notice is that the kids always get to the door first. And the grown-ups are somewhere down the street yelling, stop at the door! Stop at the, wait at the door! Don't go in without me! And then the next thing you'll notice is that the kids come in and they physically get so excited when they see that fire truck. They can't contain themselves. It's like a kid in the candy store. There's nothing that's off limits. Like Tiffany said, we want them to touch everything. The committee talked about how many times nowadays do you hear people say, remember when we used to play outside until it was dark? even after dark. Or remember when we swam in a rectangular pool with no waves, no slides, most of the time no diving boards, and we had a great time. We dove for pennies, or we made up games. It seems like life was a little simpler, and perhaps it was a little healthier. A small group of wonderful people back in 1996 and 1997, and two of our original board members are here tonight, Dave Utterback and David Amborn. We behaved a lot like children. We wondered and we imagined, and then we grew our group of friends as we explored and learned and discovered, and then we reached out to the whole community, and then we created and we built this children's museum. And it's been a Cinderella story with a wonderful cast of staff. Leanne, who's my right hand, left hand, both feet most days. Hannah and Jenny and Christina, a whole host of volunteers, various here tonight, that come regularly and consistently to help us do what we love to do. And with all the statistics and numbers and successes we've had, the growth, the research that backs up what we do, the traveling exhibits, the collaborations, the new exhibits, a larger board, a bigger endowment, truly the best thing that has happened to us as an organization in 20 years is the one thing that didn't happen. We haven't changed. And I know it sounds really corny, but dreams really do come true. Let's watch this.
There we go. Plastic paper airplane.
So here at the Children's Museum, we like to have fun. It's joy. It's learning, exploration, children getting to experiment with what they've seen mom and dad and grown-ups do in the real world. It's everything good and positive.
When I was young, we certainly didn't have a place like this.
There's usually a lot of kids here, usually at least 40, 50 kids.
I like that I can come here and know that the kids are safe.
Our son wanders, so this is nice. He can't really escape, so that's why we bring him here.
We dance, and there's stuff for music.
When we come here, I just say, go play, go do something, go find something you haven't done here before, and I'll follow you, I'll be behind you.
It's a good variety. It's probably something you can't really duplicate, anywhere else in the city as far as the size of the exhibits and the learning experience.
We actually don't have a lot of signage to tell people what to do because do what you want, see how it works.
I was always one that wanted to be independent, but also someone that wanted to lead the others that I was playing with. I think that had a huge impact, and I don't think I would be where I am right now, successfully leading my own organization, if I wasn't doing that as a young child. And so when you talk about the correlation, playing here is going to have an impact on them for the rest of their lives.
It's here where the kids are going to invent, to imagine, to express themselves, to build their own personalities and their own characters.
There's an M. I better get you one of those for Christmas this year.
I got my M. Haven't forgot everything about being a kid.
As a mom, I see the Children's Museum as a resource for me to get out of the house with the kids and we can go someplace safe, fun, that's learning.
Nap time comes to mind, and there's no better place in La Crosse to wear them down than the Children's Museum.
I think we as a community, if we want to say how important the future is, we will do something for our children, and I think that's what this does. It's devoted to children and families. We've had, 1 million people here? 1 million people visit in 20 years, that's phenomenal.
50 to 60,000 visitors come through every year.
Did we have any idea it would be as successful as it is today with over 1 million people coming through that door? No way. I mean, it's a credit, I think, to Ann and Leanne and the staff that they've had over the last 18 years. And we're just very fortunate to have the museum in a community this size.
I think this was one of the best things that's ever happened to La Crosse.
I think the museum has drawn people from the city, the county, and the region.
Typically a museum like this, you would think of having to go to a larger city like Madison or the Twin Cities to find something like this, but to have it in downtown La Crosse
makes it so much easier for us from a smaller town to just come up here and spend a couple hours playing.
It's a place for everyone.
It makes it special because everybody likes it here.
Looking forward, we consider how is this place going to be the great place for kids to come for the next 20 or 30 years.
When people start thinking about giving to the museum and thinking that, well, a museum is great, they don't need it. Remember those people that really need this place. They need time with their family. We as a community need to step up and make sure there's a place for everybody here, not just someone that can afford it.
This museum was founded by the community and supported by the community and continues to grow because of the community.
What I want to be when I grow up, I either want to work here at the Children's Museum or I want to be a tattoo artist. We love the Children's Museum. He likes the noodle forest.
And I would challenge anybody to come down here, whether you have little kids or not, if you're grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, and just see what goes on here. And I guarantee you'll be caught up in all the activities too. If anything, you're going to go to the pin screen and put your face in it and see what your glasses look like on the other side.
That's from 1965? Somebody saved as much as I do.
Can't be.
Yeah.
Those folks that invested way back when, I hope they see that their investment was really worthwhile. It has grown and flourished, and now's an opportunity to reinvest and for new folks to get involved and invest and be part of this great children's museum.
I think everyone should learn how to play at the Children's Museum.
So how will we reinvest in this place? There are updates and renovations that are required simply because we're 18 years old and we've had 1 million visitors. If you own a house, you know what that's like. Not having 1 million visitors, but you know what it's like to have to update and renovate. People really love this museum to death. Boilers and carpet, we have a lot of toilets, we have electronic eyes, and we like new, efficient lighting. You know, some of that really just update and improve. And we don't need to grow. We have a 30,000 square foot building, which is unbelievable for a museum in a town our size. And Charles and Marjorie Collins were so gracious to donate to us. But we would like to expand anyway. And there is a beautiful rooftop space on the other side of that wall that's just begging to be an outdoor play patio where we can be messy. And when I was a kid, when I was growing up, one of the jokes at the house was there's always something on the kitchen table, but it's never dinner. Because my mom was real artistic and she used to always have projects going for us. So there was string and yarn and glue and homemade Play-Doh. And lots of messes, but messes are good because it means creativity is going on, and we think we can do a lot of messing out there. Another dream we have is a new climbing structure. We've actually outgrown our climbing wall. We have so many visitors now compared to when we first opened that we just can't keep people happy with that climbing wall. So we're envisioning kind of a Jack and the Beanstalk, only something a child could dream up, climbing structure that will go through that whole 3-story atrium. There's more on that in a minute. And I don't want to bore you with numbers, but you really need to know that we are rock solid financially. We are in 77% of our annual budget through our earned income pieces. And we're kind of bragging, but that's really, really high for children's museums. It's way above the industry average. So here we go dreaming again. How can we be even more sustainable? How can we earn more and have to ask for less? A traveling exhibit we've decided we want to design and build our own traveling exhibit, rent it out to other small and medium-sized museums, and have it here when it isn't rented out. And that way, it's just a win-win-win. We're helping other museums, we're helping ourselves with a new revenue stream, and we're helping our visitors because when it isn't rented out, it'll be right where you're all sitting tonight. So that's one of our other plans. And then last year, I had 2 past board members call me to tell me that the facade of the museum was looking faded and tired. And I knew it must be true because they were guys. And I know they have never noticed their wives' haircuts. So for them to notice that we were looking faded and tired meant it must be true. And 18 years in Wisconsin, that'll do it. So soon we will have our new logo and bright colors attracting and welcoming our visitors. Another piece of the campaign this year is endowment, or this campaign is endowment. And that's because our mission is to be affordable and accessible to everyone. And we take it really seriously. We never turn anybody away. We work with 7 different organizations to help funnel folks to us who might need a little help with a membership or free passes. So we've included this endowment piece because we want to meet this very important need in this region. And then there are the exhibits. They're the stars of the show, have been for 18 years, and they're a labor of love. We try to do everything locally that we can, build and design locally. We do purchase some things, but we aren't looking really to replace any, because the truth is our audience changes constantly, and even the children that come regularly change with their life experiences and with their age. A good example of that is Quick Trip. I've used it a lot, but the little ones just want to push the cart around because they're never allowed to do that in the grocery store. And then they get a little bit bigger and they might want to get a list and try to match the items, and then they grow up a little bit more and they know about money and they want to run the cash register. So the children themselves change our exhibits, and we don't necessarily have to get rid of things, but things need some love. They're tired, they're worn, and they just need a little love. And we have found a few new items that we think people will really like, and one of those you'll see in a few minutes. So we are so grateful for the last 18 years, and like I said, I could talk for hours. But when I say I'm grateful, it reminds me of a gal I heard speak years ago, and she said, when you say grateful, it's that gratefulness, like a coffee cup that's overflowing. You swear it's filled more than it should be because you can see the coffee rounded on it. And it's that overwhelming gratefulness that you get. And that's the gratefulness that we all feel here for being able to do this for the last 18 years. We're so grateful, and we're grateful to some very significant lead gifts towards this campaign. So I'd like to do a shout out. We've got some of the Bensfelds here tonight. Brenna Marine, the Foundation, Quick Trip, and we're thrilled to announce that our new climber has been sponsored by the Cleary Come Foundation. So thank you. And thank you for coming tonight. Even if you came just to learn more about the museum, I think knowing what's going on in our community is always a wonderful thing. So thanks for all your support. Thank you.
When I grow up, I either want to work at the Children's Museum or be a tattoo artist. That was awesome. Me too, yeah. And now I would like to invite Steve Schultz. He is a launch event host, past board president, and current committee member, to give us a donor's perspective to all of this. Steve.
Good evening. These are just a few of my grandkids. An adult child of mine, the birds will remember about 40 years ago, run through the neighborhood banging on the car, that's hysterical. And one of the beautiful things about retirement is I could take a midday nap with this kid. Well, anyway, I'd like to personally thank you all for coming and showing interest in our stories. Over 40 years ago, as a erstwhile pediatrician, I arrived in Crosse to raise my family and care for other children and families. And in the first 20 years I lived here, there were very few indoor, child-oriented places to play, for play and creativity. And then in 1998, I became very intrigued by what then was a bare bones startup children's museum. And since I've had the privilege of joining the board and serving on a number of committees and being an active participant in a variety of projects, which included, in my memory, raising money by scooping up hundreds of racing rubber duckies in the Mississippi River. David Amborn was my cohort in that one. In recent years, I've returned here with my adult children and 7 grandchildren, and we've had a wonderful time at this museum. One of our favorites was that shadow room in there. You may have seen a picture earlier on the slideshow. That's broken. We can't use it anymore, so it was an easy vote for our family to donate the entire amount required to fully refurbish that room so everybody can have a good time again. So now I join the leadership team for the capital campaign. Why? I've watched this museum grow into a life-enhancing, joyous, efficient, well-led asset for our community and our region. And yes, it's also a very effective recruiting tool for businesses in this region, just being here and being so good. But most importantly, from my perspective, this place is about learning and creating. This place is a home for families of joy, and this team cares deeply about our children, our city, and our region. It's time we care back and give the Children's Museum of the Crosse a hearty launch into a bright future, because play matters. Everyone wins. So thank you for listening, and please tell your friends and family about our stories. Thank you.
David Amborn. David was a founding board member, a past president, and is our current board president. David Amborn.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Yes, I was on the founding board of directors back in the day when this building had yellow carpeting and asbestos. Well, I stayed connected through several duck races and some committee work, and now I'm back on the board as its president. I just love this place, and so does my granddaughter, Hazel. This little sparkler just turned 11 months old and celebrated that with her first visit to the Children's Museum. You're never too old or too young to love the Children's Museum. Today you've heard about the museum's mission and the Play It Forward campaign. Now it's my privilege to ask you to be part of the next 1,000,000 smiles and the next 1,000,000 memories. Every member of the museum board of directors has made a pledge. Their contributions total 7% of the campaign goal. We know that in order for this campaign to succeed, we need to secure many other significant commitments to the project. So over the next few minutes, let's take a look at ways for you to join us. But first, we have an exciting opportunity for you to consider. A group of generous donors has challenged us to raise $200,000 in pledges by April 4th. We want to thank Cooley Bank, Mayo Clinic Health System, Franciscan Healthcare, the La Crosse Community Foundation, and Citizen State Bank, along with several anonymous donors, for creating this match. They will provide a dollar for dollar match of your gift up to a total of $200,000. How about that? So if you haven't made a pledge yet, please consider joining us at one of the following gift levels. Your contribution will be matched by an equal amount. Let's take a look at the first giving level on the screen. Many of you are part of a company or organization, or maybe you just might be in a position to make this generous gift yourself. It's called the Creators Club. A pledge of $25,000 or more per year for 3 years, for a total of $75,000 or more, comes with opportunities for naming rights and sponsorships. Joining our League of Learners with a total pledge of $30,000 also provides the opportunity to sponsor an event, or an exhibit or program. If you're interested in sponsorship options not listed in our materials, please contact Ann or Leanne to discuss your ideas. Another pledge that will help bring this campaign to fruition is a pledge of $5,000 per year for 3 years for a total of $15,000. This is the Giggle Guild level, and it's Hazel's personal favorite. This gift will allow the Children's Museum to be more efficient and sustainable. Hazel need not worry about the museum running out of fun things to do for a long, long time. Another pledge to consider is $2,500 per year for 3 years for a total gift of $7,000. It's the Brain Builders level. This gift level and all others can provide donors a meaningful way to honor and memorialize special friends and loved ones. No, we aren't about to run out of clever names for our gift levels, but maybe some of you might consider a pledge of $1,000 each year for 3 years for a total gift of $3,000 and join our playful partners. Finally, I know that some of you may want to make a gift of stock. It's a smart gift and can bring meaningful financial benefits to both you and the museum. Please see Anne or Leanne to discuss these options. Or make a note on the back of your pledge card. As you're thinking about your gift, let's take a look at the pledge card. You'll find the card in your orange bag. Be sure to write your name or names as you want them to be recognized by the museum on the top of the card or noted on the back. Clearly write how much you would like to give, over what period of time, and then sign your card. You might want to take your information home and think about what amount makes sense to you. You may want to speak to your financial or tax advisor. We just ask that you try to return your pledge by the April 4th deadline so we can take full advantage of our challenge gifts. You may prefer giving a different amount than we proposed. That's okay. And so we provided a place to write the amount you'd like to make as a one-time gift or pledge. There too, you have the option to make your gift over a number of years. If I could have your attention for one more moment, whatever your choice, whether you become a member of one of our giving levels, are making a pledge of a different amount, or want to think about your gift, we sincerely thank each and every one of you, and it's worth repeating, remember the dollar-for-dollar match. The offer is open until April 4th. Please help us take full advantage of this opportunity. And I have some homework for you. Help us spread word of the Play It Forward campaign to your family, friends, and co-workers. Like us on Facebook and share our video as we launch this campaign. If you have any questions, look for our committee volunteers with the purple name tags for an answer. When you're finished, hand your pledge to one of our volunteers or drop it into the purple mailbox in front of the fire truck on the first floor. Hey, how often does one get to say the purple mailbox in front of the fire truck on the first floor? Only in the Children's Museum. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David. So we're going to end this evening in style. We have an important announcement to make. As we have said, many of our volunteers have been visiting with many of you and other community members and leaders about gifts to the Capital Campaign, and we have a great start toward our goal. Do you want to hear what we have so far? Yeah. What a wonderful, wonderful start. We hope everyone is inspired to pledge with the matching funds that are available, remember, by April 4th. So let's get the